On this episode, we spin up our hamster wheels to challenge each other and you with some Thailand-based trivia questions.
So if you're a fan of pub quizzes or just want to know some more esoteric facts about Thailand, you'll dig this episode of the Bangkok Podcast.
Sawadee krap, and welcome to the Bangkok Podcast. My name is Greg Jorgensen, a Canadian who came to Thailand in 2001 to try and set a world record for eating at every lab moo stall in the country. And I'm happy to say that after 22 years, I'm only about 5% done.
Well, there's a lot of lab moo stalls. There's no doubt about that.
I'll get them all.
And I'm Ed Knuth, an American who came to Thailand on a one-year teaching contract 23 years ago. Fell in love with Thai people singing passionately about going home to West Virginia. So I never left.
You're talking about the John Denver song?
Heck yeah. I mean, Thai people love that.
Song.
They love that song more than Americans love it. So I can't leave.
John Denver is just wholesomeness defined.
No, it brings me back to my youth, so it's like I'm over here, but they're singing these songs that I heard when I was 10 years old. So,
Good old country roads.
It fits. We want to say a quick thank you to one of our patrons, Mark Riding, who supports us at the show shout-out level. Stick around after our Trivia a Go-Go to hear why you should never go out drinking with Mark if there's ever a tattoo shop nearby. Ooh. We also want to give a big thanks to all of our patrons who support the show. Patrons get every episode a day early, behind-the-scenes photos of our interviews, a heads up to send questions to upcoming guests, and access to our Discord server to chat with me, Greg, and other listeners around the world. But best of all, patrons like Mark also get an unscripted, uncensored bonus episode every week where we riff on current events and Bangkok topics. On this week's bonus show, we chatted about Greg's first bike ride on his new bike after his previous one was stolen by a dirty thief who was captured on video, actually.
Yeah.
Our top 10 most listened to episodes on YouTube, and more thoughts on the creepy and overbearing nature of working as a flight attendant in Asia and how different it is from the West. To learn how to become a patron, click the support button at the top of our website.
That's right. And also, don't forget, if you listen to us on Spotify, you can now hear all the bonus shows there as well. If you're a patron, simply link your Patreon account to your Spotify account and add our new feed titled Bangkok Podcast, Badass Patrons Only, to hear the regular shows and the bonus shows in the same place. And also a quick announcement for everyone. September 29th, Friday, September 29th, we are having our meetup at Palette, 6 p.m. on the rooftop. Now, Palette is a cool little bar restaurant thing down right by Robinson's on Jaron Kroong Road, right by Sapantaksin there. We'll have some finger food, but you got to get everything else on your own. And the only thing I don't like about Palette is that there's no elevator and you have to climb 5 sets of stairs to get to the top, so be prepared for that, but no worries about that. We're also going to have a bucket of a few dozen beers ready for the first few dozen people that show up to quench your thirst after that long climb. So everyone come out, say hi to me and Ed, say hi to other listeners, September 29th. It's going to be a fun night.
For sure, be there.
And all right, before we get started, we're going to start a new little segment here and when it's needed, and this is the Corrections Department, where we come clean on any previous mistakes or issues that our listeners called us out on. And Ed, you said you wanted to talk about something. What's going on?
Yeah, this is something I think I mostly talked about on the bonus show. Just a point of clarification. I was discussing Thailand and its economic development, and we were talking about whether Thailand is properly referred to as first world, second world, or third world. And I know this is a bit picky, but we did have a couple listeners who had an issue with me describing Thailand possibly as second world. And I just wanted to clarify, especially as someone who teaches at a university, that traditionally the word second world actually referred to the communist world, believe it or not, during the Cold War. So proper terminology more modern terminology would probably be developed, developing, and possibly undeveloped. So I don't think it's accurate to it's not really correct to say Thailand is second world. We've actually had some guests talking about this before. Listeners, if you're interested, you can look back with our episode with Professor Dan Honig, discuss this topic. Thailand's kind of weird. If you ask me, I would say Bangkok is developed, but a lot of the rest of Thailand is undeveloped. So in a way, Thailand is kind of weird. But I agree with some of the critics of our show. It's not really accurate to use the term second world. So I'm going to retract. I'm going to retract that. That's not the right way to talk about it. But I would stick by this idea that I think that Thailand is somewhere in the middle. Like the weird thing is Bangkok is really first world or developed.
Right.
Bangkok is amazing. SkyTrain, MRT, we talk about it all the time. But then, you get outside of Bangkok and it's like you're in another country.
It gets a bit rough the further out you go. But I would still say that's developing. They've got electricity and Wi-Fi and automobiles and medical care and
for sure, maybe developing, but there is a pretty stark contrast. Yeah, so maybe maybe undeveloped is kind of extreme. But I do believe in this kind of two Thailands approach. But it's not really accurate. The whole first, second, and third world that's kind of old. That's kind of old vocab. So
I think it's a bit anachronistic now. Yeah.
Correct. So I stand corrected. Thank you, listeners, for pointing that out.
All right, that was a real third world thing to do, Ed. All right, well, in this episode, we are inspired by a segment that we do regularly on our bonus show every week called Trivial Thai, where we, unsurprisingly, ask each other trivia questions about Thailand. Now, I believe in full honesty with you, dear listener, and as we were trying to come up with a topic for this week's show, we couldn't really think of anything, and we thought, to hell with it, let's just make the whole main show one big trivia show. So here's how it'll work. Ed and I will each choose one question in the categories of geography, language, history, religion, and pop culture, all related to Thailand. And we are going to quiz the other guy with a question from that category. We'll give our brains a good old workout. And the best part is you can play along at home. Now, I was going to say if you manage to get the answers to each question right, you can get a free drink at the meetup, but then everyone would be showing up saying how smart they were and we'd be broke by the end of the night. So that's not a rule I'm going to implement. So if you play along at home, you don't get anything special except the satisfaction of knowing that you're probably going to beat us. But let's just see how it goes.
Yeah, so listeners, we do a lot of trivia on the bonus show. So if you become a patron, you can participate in more Thai trivia. But we decided to make it a main show. I think it's important, as an expat to, I don't know what the right way to put it is. It's not about, when you talk about assimilation, it normally means things like learning some language and being able to function day to day. But I think trivia, maybe it is a type of assimilation. I feel like if you become a fan of Thailand, whether you're a repeat tourist or an actual expat, I feel like your just knowledge of the country should go up.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you should just kind of know stuff. You should know stuff about Thailand. And so that's what this show is about. It's like, so this is Greg and I kind of teasing each other, poking each other. We've done this, we've done trivia before, but this is really more for listeners. So Greg and I we're going to try to actually be kind of easy on each other. Hopefully we don't come across as fools or idiots, which, a lot of people confuse us for fools and idiots.
Right.
But so the whole idea here is just to up your Thai game in general.
Yeah, and these might not be things that everyone should know. Some of them might be things that you should know, or some of them might be things that are handy to know. But like Ed said, it's a fun way to learn a little bit more about the country. And I think as just by dint of being an expat, you're probably more interested in learning about the place than you would be. Like we say on the podcast a lot, I don't know anything about the city that I grew up in,
right.
But I know a lot about Bangkok. So let's put it to the test.
Yeah, let's do this.
You want to go first? You want to ask me the first geography question?
Sure. Okay, let's do geography. Hold on, let me pull up my questions here. All right, Greg, I'm going to start us off. Now, I'm just going to tell you right now, don't panic. Okay, so this is going to sound like a hard question at first, but I'm going to make it a little bit easier, and I think you can probably kind of guess your way through this.
Okay. That's what I do most of my life.
Okay, don't panic. Okay. So as you and I both know, Thailand has a lot of provinces. To be frank, I always forget the total number. How many provinces is it again? That's not the question.
2009. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's like a crazy. It's like 1,000 provinces. But from looking at a map, I can see with my plain eyes that 7 Thai provinces border the country of Cambodia. Now, it would be insane if you could name all 7, and I would never ask that. I'm guessing most Thai people could not name all 7. But these are just Far East provinces.
Got it.
Can you name 4?
Dude.
That border Cambodia?
No, but I can try.
Just think, okay, here's what I'm telling you. This is not quite as hard as it seems. Just think directly east. Like, just think east, and you might be able to get this.
Okay, I know this. I know one of them because my favorite island is Kokut, and that is in Trat province. And
Correct.
That borders Cambodia.
That's the one. Trat. That's actually one of the harder ones because it's so far south. So I think a lot of people might forget that. But Trat is 1 out of 7. Correct.
Okay, and I know Surin. Because I went there for our buddy Boaz's wedding about 15 years ago.
Boom, baby. Like Surin, famous for elephants.
Elephants, yeah.
That's right. So Surin, 2. You're 2 for 2, man. You're 2 out of 7.
Not Thonburi. Thonburi's far before. Not Rayong. I got to tap out. I can only get 2. I have no idea. No.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So I thought you might know. So to me, there's again, this is the tricky thing about trivia is like, something is obvious to you. To me, there's 3 obvious ones, which are Ubon, Surin, and Buriram. Like
Ubon Ratchathani.
Yeah, like Ubon. I mean, Ubon is to me Ubon, Surin, and Buriram, and the other ones, like to me the hard ones are Visakha, Bucha, which I never hear anyone talk about, and then Thonburi. But you got Trat, which
Thonburi, of course. I've got a colleague that lives in Thonburi. Duh.
That's right. So I thought you would get like Ubon and Buriram.
Okay, man, I got to look at a provincial map of Thailand a bit more often, I think.
Well, it's the weird thing is about it, to me in my mind, it is sometimes hard to get the dimensions right between like Laos and Cambodia. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the key thing is to remember Cambodia is more like it's almost south. It's kind of
you're right.
So it's really like direct. So I'm surprised you got Trat. Like Trat is one of the harder ones because I think people forget that. Oh yeah, that is Cambodia. Like Gao Chang and Gao Kud, it's basically Cambodia.
Right. Yeah, it's right there.
That's right.
Well, it's funny. So I'll head over to my geography question now. It's really funny that you asked me one like that, a provincial one, because I have a similar one also about Bangkok's provinces. So revenge is a dish best served immediately after you got.
There you go.
Here we go. The province of Bangkok touches 5 other provinces. I'm going to go a bit easier on you. I'm going to give you 4 of them, and I want you to name the 5th one. Samut Sakhon to the southwest, Samut Prakan to the southeast, Pathum Thani to the northeast, Thonburi to the north, and what to the northwest?
Oh, shit.
There's probably, throughout this entire episode, there's probably going to be listeners screaming at their phone or radio or whatever. But
wait, I thought, isn't Thonburi... Okay, so name the ones you again.
Okay, so Samut Sakhon to the southwest, Samut Prakan to the southeast, Pathum Thani to the northeast, Thonburi directly north, and what is in the northwest?
Northwest. All right, I think I'm going to get this, and here's the reason I'm going to get this.
All right.
because my first girlfriend from Thailand was like super Isan, and she was from Nakhon Phanom, which is super northeast.
That's where my wife is from.
Right, which I often confuse with Nakhon Pathom. Isn't that the right answer? Isn't Nakhon Pathom to the northwest?
Yeah, you got it. It's Nakhon Pathom. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, that's it. That's the only reason I got it, because my first Thai girlfriend was from Nakhon Phanom, and I would always say to her, Nakhon Pathom, and she'd be like, "No, it's not the same." And I'm like,
That's
"Wait."
funny.
I'm like, "Nakhon Pathom, isn't that where you're from?" She's like, "No, Nakhon Phanom, it's not the same."
That's funny. The only reason I remember Nakhon Phanom is because it's got the word nom in it, of course. So that's my little mnemonic memory thing.
I really just got kind of lucky with that one, just because of that weird quirk. Otherwise, I would not have known that.
Right is right. You nailed me.
All right. So what's the next topic?
Language.
Okay, language. All right. I've got a question for you. And again, this is so hard. I don't know how hard this is. This might be just a piece of cake. I don't know.
Right.
So now most Thai people, they might not like this historical fact.
All right.
But as you might know from your studies of Thai language, the Thai script, the way Thai is written, is actually based on a previously existing script. Based on. Not exactly the same, but based on. So what is the pre-existing script that written Thai language is based upon?
I think I'm pretty sure it is based mostly on the Khmer script, because the Khmer Empire was the power in the region long before Ayutthaya rose to be the power in the region, and long before that even, I think. So I would say Khmer, but it's also, man, it's all mixed together, Khmer and Sanskrit, but I think Khmer was around first.
Yeah, okay. I believe that is a correct answer. I mean, of course, we have our Thai language experts out there that can help us. But I think you're right. I think basically there was a huge Cambodian empire, Khmer Empire, and then I think King Ramkhamhaeng, he tried to figure out how to write Thai, and so that's why it looks similar. You know, it's like Thai script. It looks like Khmer script, but it's not exactly the same.
Right.
So I got to give you credit for that. I got to give you a thumbs up, although I'm sure it's slightly more complicated. But I think that's roughly correct.
Okay, I think it's like a lot of things here. Like you say, like, this thing is Thai. And you're like, well, yeah, I mean, it was, and then it was Khmer, and then before that it was Indian, and then before that it was from China, and then it's like all mixed together. So
correct.
You kind of lose these sort of like solid lines from A to B.
Yeah, but I got to go. I think that's a thumbs up. That's a thumbs up.
Well, it's funny. It's funny, listeners. We have not asked each other these questions. We don't know what we're going to ask. So these are sort of we're thinking very similarly tonight. So here's my language question for you. So the first occurrence of the written Thai language appears on the Ramkhamhaeng stele, which was lost to history until 1833 when it was discovered in the ruins of a temple in Sukhothai by this person. Who found the Ramkhamhaeng stele?
Who found it?
A famous person.
Oh my God, I didn't realize a famous person found it. I'm proud of myself that I even know. So what Greg is talking about are these famous stones which contain carvings of the record of this early, Sukhothai, Siam, whatever you want to call it, kingdom. So this is the early Thai script and early records of Thai history. So I'm very aware of these stones, and I've seen them in the Thai National Museum. But who discovered them? Like, who actually found them?
Yeah, who found it?
I don't know who found it. I mean, I assumed like an actual famous person actually found them.
It's a bit of a very specific question. Yeah.
I feel, based on the question, I feel like it's something that I should know. And I do know something about the stones themselves. But
I'll give you a half point for this one because you know a lot about the stones. And
so the short answer is I don't really even have a guess as to who found the stones. I just assumed it would be some archaeologist or anthropologist or someone like who's hunting, like Tomb Raider, like that's who I
or
would
some
assume.
random archaeologist
Like
who you
Lara
like,
Croft, like Lara. Okay, Lara Croft. That's my guess.
well, it's like who discovered the Rosetta Stone? I don't know, but that's
Yeah,
a super famous thing, right? But we don't know the name of the guy who discovered it.
That's right. That's okay. That's my approach. I'm going with Lara Croft.
All right. You're a little bit off. The stele was discovered in 1833 by Prince Mongkut, who would later become King Rama IV.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, no, I literally did not know that. I had no idea.
On this little page called Wikipedia, it says Mongkut had made a pilgrimage to the ancient town of Sukhothai, where among the ruins then believed to be the site of the old palace, he discovered the stele, as well as a carved stone slab believed to be the throne of the Sukhothai ruler.
Very cool. But I didn't even know that story, that he was the actual discoverer of it.
I think that's the only reason you would know that is because he was a future king. He discovered it when he was a monk.
Right.
But yeah, if it was just some random dude, then no, you would not know that.
Yeah, interesting. No, that actually is a great question because I feel like I should know that. I should know that that's the story.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a cool story. It's something you can remember. All right. What's your question?
Sure. So you are familiar with a place in Bangkok. My Thai is bad, but it would be known as Anusawari Chai.
Yes.
And what is Anusawari Chai?
Anusawari Chai is the Victory Monument.
Victory Monument, correct.
Right.
So it is a monument to a victory.
That's not the question? Oh, man. All right.
No, that's the question. The question is, what is the victory?
Okay. I thought I was killing it for a second. Okay, the victory of Anusawari Chai.
Like what is the monument like what is it commemorating? What victory?
This is, I don't know what the name of the war is called or the battle, but it's a battle between the Thai and the French when they were messing around in Indochina.
Excellent. Correct. That is correct. And I don't know much about it. I mean, what they call it
is it the Thai-French Indochina War or something like that?
Well, they call it that. They call it like the Thai-French War or the Thai-French Indochina War. It's basically was, I think, a battle.
Yeah. A lot of people think that's a monument to World War II, but it's not. It's not.
Correct. So yeah, good. You crushed that. Yeah. So it's odd, because there's this whole monument. You think it's like World War II, and it is World War II related, but it was a skirmish more or less between the Thai and the French over, I think, Laos, like the border between Thai and Laos, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And that was when France was pulling out of
that's right
Indochina, and they had bigger fish to fry, I think, in the rest of the world.
Correct. So not bad. So Victory Monument.
Yay me.
Good on you.
All right. I got another history question for you. When Bangkok was founded in 1782, it included only the little village on the east side of the Chao Phraya River. The city of Thonburi on the west side was a whole other thing until it was merged with Bangkok in what year? I'll give you a 10-year leeway.
Okay, so what's the original date?
When Bangkok became a city, 1782.
1782.
That was when Bangkok was founded. So the question is, when was Thonburi, which was the original capital before Bangkok, when was Thonburi merged into be part of Bangkok? What year? Within 10 years.
Damn it. We've talked about this before.
It was a few years ago, but yeah, we did.
Since we are Thonburi people, we should know this. So it's weird. Like Thonburi is weird because it's kind of like this original capital, and then it moves over. Then it moves across the river, but then it gets incorporated into Bangkok, right? Yeah. So that's 1782. Damn, that's early. Part of me feels like it's surprisingly recent. Like part of me thinks like, oh, this is like in the 1900s or something.
Well, this is the thing we talked about, right? Some things in Thailand, you expect them to be recent and they were 200 years old, and other things you expect them to be around for centuries and they're just like last year.
For some reason, this question, I feel like, wow, this could be in the 1930s, but then it also could be in the 1830s.
Right.
Damn it. Yeah. I basically kind of had to tap, although I know that we've talked about it before. So if that's 1780s, I'm going to go 1850.
1850? Within the 10-year gap, you were off by a little bit. Thonburi was merged with Bangkok in 1972.
slightly off. That's what I'm saying. That was okay. That's kind of exactly my point.
Right.
It's that
right.
With that question, I was like, shit, this is something that could be very recent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or it could be a long time ago. You know, it's like, damn it. And I know we've talked about this before. I know we've talked about this exact issue before.
It says the city was formerly divided into two municipalities, Krung Thep on the east bank and Thonburi on the west side. It wasn't until 1971 when the two were joined together as a city province with a single municipal government. And by 1972, the city and the surrounding provinces had been united into one province called Krung Thep Mahanakhon.
Well, thank God we didn't go to school in Thailand. Like our teachers right now would be like ashamed.
Right.
Our teachers would be, rolling over in their grave. They'd be like
palming so hard you could hear
them. Be like, Jesus, these guys were my students.
Fail.
So funny. Fail. All right.
Moving on to religion.
All right. Okay. I got a religion question for you.
Right.
And this one is again, I don't think it's that hard, but it's just a little bit tricky. So there are several well-known Buddhist holidays, and we get days off. Not that you do anything religious on those days. I don't want to know what you're doing on those days. Really, I don't want to know what you're doing. But there is one Buddhist holiday which is generally considered the most important one. Like the number one. It's kind of like in Christianity, okay, Christmas is number one, Easter's number two. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So in Thai Buddhism, there's just one holiday to rule them all. And I think the bottom line is you got about a 50-50 chance of getting this, because you probably, just off the top of your head, you can probably name it 2 or 3 of these Buddhist holidays because you get off work.
Yeah.
So the question is just which one is the main one. The second part of the question is what does it represent? But that's actually quite easy. Basically, if you just kind of guess what it will represent, you're probably going to get it right. But the question is, which one? So just think in your head of like Buddhist holidays. How the calendar works. Which one is like the dominant one? The boss
holiday. Let me preface this by saying that I am a godless heathen, but it's got to be either Buddha's birth or death.
Okay, but I want to know what Thai people call the holiday.
It's Visakha Bucha.
Is that your final answer, Greg?
The other one is Mahana Bucha. Yeah, Visakha Bucha or Visakha Bucha.
You are correct, sir. Oh, ding, ding, ding. Ding,
damn,
ding,
I
ding.
knew this was going to be such a stressful episode. I wish we didn't do this now. Freaking out.
No, Visakha Bucha. Well, the other one is Maka Bucha Day.
Maka Bucha, right.
Yeah, but Visakha Bucha is considered the main one. And as far as I know, I did some quick research. I think Visakha Bucha Day, it represents like the Buddha's birth, enlightenment, and death or something. It's insane.
It's like a really important day, like a central crux.
Yeah, that's it. And then like Maka Bucha Day represents some other historical meeting or something.
Okay.
Like, so it's important, but it's like Visakha Bucha Day, I think it's the birth, the death, like it's like the mother of all holidays. So dude, you got it right.
It's like 1955 in the Back to the Future universe. It's like this one date that all of the timelines converge on.
Dude, you got it right. Visakha Bucha Day. That's right. You crushed it. Yay, Greg.
All right. Well, my religion question, I know that you are much more well-read on this than I am, so I made it a little bit hard. At least I didn't know this.
Christ, dude. We're falling apart here, dude. We got to be easy on each other.
All right. How many paths are there on the way? No, I was kidding. That's an easy one. How many paths are folded? No. Okay. So when Siddhartha Gautama, when the Buddha was meditating under the Bodhi tree and he was on his way to enlightenment.
Oh, Christ.
He was tempted.
Yes, he was.
Tempted by someone. What was the name of the evil tempter who tried to attack and bribe the Buddha while he was seated under the Bodhi tree?
Mara.
Nailed it. You got it.
Mara is like the desire, like the demon kind of a desire. Yeah. So I know this because I teach some very basic Buddhist philosophy.
Okay.
So this is stuff I teach my students. So I do know that.
Good one. I didn't know that one.
Yeah, the story of the Buddha under the Bodhi tree is interesting because if you read the whole thing, it's very I don't know what the right word is, but it's like basically there's like the equivalent to like succubus, like there's like hot women tempt him, Yeah, it's like very.
I'm reading the Wikipedia page, and it says Mara is a malignant celestial king who tried to stop Prince Siddhartha from achieving enlightenment by trying to seduce him with his celestial army and the vision of beautiful women who in various legends are often said to be Mara's daughters.
Yeah. So it's like they're trying to distract him. He's like deep in meditation, and meditation is all about focus. So like Mara's throwing him all kinds of crazy stuff at him to distract him. So yeah, so that one I'll take credit for.
Nice, good one, well done. I didn't know that.
Cool. All right, I got a pop culture question for you, but admittedly, this does overlap with Thai history.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you a question about a very famous Thai film called Suriyothai.
Okay.
So you're probably familiar with this film. It was a Thai film about a famous Thai queen, historical figure, a real person. And then it was a pretty successful Thai movie, but then the film was subsequently recut by Francis Ford Coppola himself.
Yes.
So there is a kind of somewhat westernized, edited version of the film. And I don't know if you've seen the film. I hope you have, because otherwise you're not going to be able to get this question right, or unless you've read about Queen Suriyothai herself. But she's famous for something. In other words, the climax of the film is her participating in a battle in a particular way. So what is Queen Suriyothai famous for? So I know this is kind of a history question, but since it's part of this big movie, I think it might fit under pop culture as well.
I think it definitely does. I mean, this is like a legendary part. Every school kid knows this. It's something that people grew up talking about.
It is pop culture.
I saw the movie when it first came out on VCD. I think I saw it on. That tells you how
for
long
real
it was. Yeah.
That's old school, dude. You might want to keep that quiet. That kind of reveals your age.
Maybe it was DVD. I can't remember, but I believe I don't remember much of it actually, to be honest. But I believe she rode out into battle on an elephant.
Correct. That might be correct, but I mean, what subsequently happened? Do you remember?
Oh, she sacrificed herself to save the king, right?
Boom, baby. That's it. Okay, that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the idea. Yeah. So she rides into battle, and I think she gets like stabbed or something. It's pretty brutal. But the idea is the queen got on an elephant to save the country or save the king or whatever, and sacrificed herself. So boom, not bad.
All right, I'll have to watch that again when I've got 1,000 hours to spare.
So, dude, I don't know what the score. I think did you get 3 out of 5 questions right?
Actually, I haven't been keeping track. I've been so scared.
You've been scared. You're like, oh my God, this is like school. It's like I'm terrified. And you tell your son to study hard, and here you are. You're like, oh my God, this is terrifying.
Hypocrite. Well, I got one more final question for you too for pop culture.
All right. Oh shit. Here we go.
Here we go. So this is a pretty easy one to get in that you might know it, but even if you don't, there's only a couple of options to choose from.
Okay, I like those. I like those kind of questions.
The range of answers is not huge. Anyway, so
understood.
Very simple question. How many times has a Thai woman won the Miss Universe pageant? So it's not like 40 times.
Again, right, yeah. No, again, we've talked about this. It's not 1 and it's not 4. That means it's got to be 2 or 3. At least that's how
interesting reasoning. Good.
That's how I approach it. I'm pretty sure it's not. It's obviously at least 1. I don't know. I'm going to go 2.
Boom. Got it. 2 times.
Oh really? Oh, yeah. Awesome. Okay. I wasn't sure. I feel like, we've talked about it before. Beauty pageants are a Thai thing, but I'm thinking like 3 times? Like that would be pretty badass. There's a lot of countries in the world, So
yeah,
I'll take 2.
Well done. I like your reasoning. It was first won in 1965 by Apasra Hongsakun, and then again in 1988 by Porntip Nakrunkanok. There we go.
Now that would be real trivia questions if you could name those people.
Yeah, no doubt.
Which I cannot do.
That's Jedi level. That's Jedi level trivia.
All right, man. I'm not even keeping score, but I feel like we both did not great, but not horrible.
Yeah, and I mean, these things are always hard to do when you're on the hot seat. It's easy when I do it. I listen to some podcasts that have game show style stuff, and it's always easy when you're listening to yelling out the answers. But
that's right. That's right.
You're on stage. It's sometimes challenging, but
no, that's right. But I really feel that this kind of stuff, this is what it means to be more than a tourist.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're a re-tourist, if you're an expat, if you're just a Thai file, if you're a Thai lover, I think you want to get into this. You want to get into just Thai knowledge, Thai trivia. And it's quite hard to get really good at it. But, if you and I can do it, other people can get okay.
Yeah, I agree. It's important stuff to know. It might not help you in your day-to-day life, but it can't hurt. So there you go.
Heck yeah.
Good one. Good questions.
So, as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, we'd like to say thank you to Mark Riding for lending us his support at the show shout-out level. Greg, what did you find out about Mark?
Well, I had a couple of nice chats with our buddy Mark, and he said he lives and works in, I always get this wrong, Worcestershire, UK? Worcestershire?
You mean Worcestershire sauce? He lives in Worcestershire sauce?
Well, you pronounce it Worcestershire, but the Brits probably say Worcestershire or something like that. You know how they always
Who knows?
Things
it's
together.
like one syllable. Yeah, for the Brits, it's like one syllable.
Yeah, so anyway, Mark lives in Worcestershire in the UK, but he said currently, as I write this, he is on his 9th trip to Thailand and my 5th visit since the country opened again after COVID.
Nice.
It's hardcore. And he said randomly, he offered up 3 things he loves about Bangkok. First, as an outsider, every time I'm here, there's always something new to explore, and compared to the UK, it's always vibrant and full of life.
Cool.
It's pretty cool. I can say the same thing about Canada when you're back there. It's like, ugh. But you come to Thailand, it's got a bit of spice. Number 2, the continuous drone of hello, welcome. Every time I step foot inside of a 7-Eleven, says sarcasm on that one.
Funny.
Don't forget the ding dong, ding
That's right.
dong.
That's right.
And number 3, it was nice to be in a country where politics seemed as effed up as my own for a while. 555.
Right.
And this is why I think it's a bad idea to go drinking with Mark if you're anywhere near a tattoo store. He says, interesting side note about me. On my first ever trip to Thailand, I had a bit too much to drink one night and decided to get a tattoo on my forearm that simply reads, and then he has the Thai script. It says, Chan Rak Kun, and is something that I very much regret, and I'm now older.
Oh, that's funny. That's very funny.
Yeah, Chan Rak Kun means I love you, for those that don't know. So,
well, it probably looks cool to a lot of people who can't read Thai script.
right. And I guess it could be worse. It could be one of those people who get the Chinese word for chicken wing tattooed on their arm or something. So
that's right.
It actually means something. And if you're going to be out, it's a good conversation starter. So it could be a lot worse.
Right. Plus, all of our listeners know that Thai script is based on the Khmer script, since they listen to this show.
Of course. And the Ramkhamhaeng Stele, which you can see at the National Museum. Anyway, Mark, thanks for writing in, man. I hope you're having a good trip, and we thank you for your support.
For sure. All right, a final thanks to all of our patrons who support the show. Patrons get a ton of cool perks and the warm, fuzzy feeling knowing that they're helping in our never-ending quest for cool content. Find out more by clicking support on our website. And connect with us online. We're Bangkok Podcast on social media, bangkokpodcast.com on the web, or simply bangkokpodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from our listeners and always reply to our messages.
Yeah, you can also listen to each episode on YouTube. You'll send us a voicemail through our website that we'll feature on the show, or hit me up on Threads at BKKGreg. So thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you back here next week.
No doubt. Hello. Check.
You were never a fan of the Turtles, not even the original comics by
I missed it.
By Laird?
I totally missed I've never thought anything other than that they're ridiculous. So it just wasn't my age group. I probably missed it by like 3 years, and then of course it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? So
I know what the
If
problem
it's not
is.
your age group, then it's
right.
ridiculous.
You were a bit too old for the comics, and they flew under your radar because the comics were dark and for grown-ups, and they were really cool. And then you were inundated when they became really popular and became all for kids with the eyelashes and the stupid.
That might be it. I just missed it. Like I just think they're ridiculous. And it's funny. One of my, I was reading some final exams from my students. It is on point. But in my film class, and this guy was, he's a very smart guy, like for a young Thai guy, and he was defending Marvel movies in the final exam in film class, which is okay. But I just suddenly realized that it's just like 10 years ago, my students were defending Harry Potter. It's just like when it's your thing, it's your time. Like you're 15 and Transformers comes out. You're like, I'm so lucky to be born at this time. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like you think like, oh, Harry Potter, it's the best. And then if it's 3 years later, it's like Twilight. It's just, that's the best thing. I'm so lucky.
Well, there was, in 1979, there was some grandfather going, Alien is nothing but just gore and blood and cheap scares. Now, Nosferatu, that was a scary movie,
For sure.
It's the same stuff. It's just on a wash, rinse, repeat.